Hello everyone, Cassie here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. I'm going to show you some of the new release that Spellbinders has just released, and I'm going to show you the dies and I'll show you a card that I made. I don't have everything in the release, but I do have some of the things, and so I'm going to show you. And then at the end of this, we are going to make a card together. All right, so let me bring out the first die. I just put it on this magnetic sheet to make it a little easier. This is called Camper Life. Camper Life. And there is a coordinating die, I think, that goes with this as well, that you can make like different ones, like donuts or pizza, or just make it like this fun little camper that, you know, is like a food truck. And so I just thought that was super, super cute. I may just have to get that one. And this stamp set is called the Sweet and Savory Sentiments. It coordinates beautifully with that one. I did not use it on my card that I'm showing you today. I just made a Christmas card, a 5x7 Christmas card, because I feel like this one fits perfectly on an A7. But check it out. Oh my gosh. It was so fun. So you have a couple different options for sentiments. You could cut it out if you wanted to. I just decided to use the piece to back my snowdrift. And then you've got your door, you've got your window pieces to make either window sills or cutouts, you've got your awning. You know, these are things you could include or not include. You could turn this not into something Christmas and, you know, leave this off and just have the warm wishes, and it could be like a little coffee one, and just put a different sentiment, just have your warm wishes on there. I think that would be really cute. But I decided to make a nighttime camper scene. I thought that was so fun. So I'll have more, or I'll have the other ones linked, or the whole page linked down on my description box down below, but this die will be linked for sure, and so will the stamp set. Okay, next up we have this Holly Jolly die set, and it's a little ornament, so take a look. It's just so fun. You can make it a swinger. So he swings on the card. I think he's so, so cute. The bow was fun to make. I used this for his little body. We have his beard, his arms, his feet, his hands, and the top of the ornament, but it was super fun. And I paired it up with another one, and this is a Glimmer. This is the Twilight Sparkle strip. So I just used some of the Glimmer foil on the background and used my Glimmer foil heat system, and we were able to make this darling little background and then put our little Holly Jolly gnome on there as well. So super fun, and I know there's more to go along with this one as well. Next up we have our Dancin Snowman, and there are other ones. There's like a Dancin Reindeer, I think a Dancin Santa, so cute. And then we have a Dancin Holiday Sentiments to go along with it, which is great. So I made this where his little legs go back and forth. And this is the video we're going to be showing at the end of this. We're going to make this card, and so stick around for the end of the video. But oh my gosh, I just love how he turned out. You can make either his arms or his legs dance, or both. I only made his legs dance, but yeah, super, super fun. All right, next up we have the holiday label motifs, and there are different ones as well, but this is the one I have. This one's the holiday labels. And so you get your dies to make a frame, and your sunlight or your light from your candle, and then you have lots of different greenery. I did not use the, you know, you can bind this to make a poinsettia. I did not do that, but that would be really pretty too. And I just love how this turned out. Now you'll see that background. That background was actually made using the Hypnotic background. This is another Glimmer foil, and I used it on my next card as well, so we'll go ahead and leave that one out here. But I love how that works out for a background. So, so pretty, and I thought it just went so perfectly with my holiday label motifs. All right, and the final one that I have to share with you today is called the Haunted House, and these are the dies that come in this one, but there's some other like cute little Dancin, I think they're Dancin, like Ghost and Mummy and stuff like that, and they're super, super cute. And again, I paired this up with the Hypnotic background, did it on some dark cardstock, but isn't that so fun? I just grabbed some stickers from my stash to make this, but this was super great. I loved it. Yeah, so I'll be making more cards with this one. All right, y'all, that's all I have for you today for cards, but stick around because we're gonna go make this little cutie. Okay, so jumping into our card, I've got all the little pieces for the Dancin Snowman, and I'm actually going to die cut those out of white cardstock because we're going to color all of those with some alcohol markers. You could obviously do whatever color cardstock you wanted, or use pretty much whatever medium you wanted. Cut this out of watercolor cardstock and then watercolor all of these. But what I'm going to do, because I'm Copic coloring these, is I'm going to put them right back in where I die cut them out. The snowman, I don't need to color any of his body, but I do need the little pieces from his eyes and his cheeks and his nose and like the little coal pieces. So I'm going to stick those onto that Post-it tape that's on the back. And then we're just going to jump into our coloring. And I'm going to show you just some of the coloring, not all of it. I think the reason why is because some of it didn't get recorded or it got lost somewhere. But so this is the easiest way I have found to color these, just putting them right back in where I die cut them out. Of course, like I said, some of them don't need any color to them because they're just white pieces, which is great. So that just saves some of that. But I do like how Spellbinders, for the most part, when they have pieces that like their dies tend to have like the snowman pieces were together, or like the cuffs were together in one die. So that way you just die cut it out of white and you can just pick that same color, if that makes any sense. So I do like that quite a bit. So we're just grabbing each color that I need and coloring each piece. And there are some layering bits to it, so I'm not so concerned about, just willy-nilly coloring. As you can see, obviously I'm going all outside of the lines, which is just fine and it makes no difference. I've decided we're going to use his little mittens and his little shoes and his hat are all going to be the same color. And we'll use a little bit of dimension there for those. And then we've got his scarf is going to be red. And we'll just add some color in there to deepen it up and add some depth, and then blend it. And then once I've colored everything, I'm going to put some double-sided adhesive on the back of my snowman for his body so I can easily put those little coal pieces inside, and then the same thing for his face. So I can easily, I think I lost a cheek. I end up finding it, but I lost the cheek for a second there. And then I can easily just put those into place. And it's a double-sided adhesive that has a release paper on the back, but I'm just going to leave that as is for now. But yeah, that's an easy way to do it. And then I use my reverse tweezers a lot if they're small pieces. But we're going to stick down his scarf, and then we'll put his little head on top of that. It's really pretty self-explanatory to put these together. But the website obviously has the finished product on there so you can see it. So it makes it simple. And we'll just put these little cuff pieces on, the little ball of his hat. And I'm using a pickup stick. That just makes it that much easier to be able to do it. I enjoy putting these die cuts together. I feel like it's a little bit therapeutic. Some people might think it's a little bit tedious, but I don't. I think it's super therapeutic. Then we've got our little cuffs for his mittens and his shoes. And I will tell you for a second, I was like, what are those pieces? And then it dawned on me. Because I was like, where do those go? Does he have eyebrows? And then I was like, duh, how did you not see that? So yeah, those are the little cuffs. You wouldn't have to use them if you didn't want to, but I think it just adds a little extra dimension to this little guy. And then we'll do the same thing with the present. Put that together. And our tree. Like I said, it's really pretty easy and very self-explanatory. And I like how once you put these little dies together, you've just got this whole extra piece with all kinds of dimension. The present has, the border piece, and then it also has the ribbon piece. And I'll end up using this present on the inside of the card. He's going to hold the tree because it's so tiny and cute. And then we do need to put together his arms and his legs. So I had a fairly flimsy piece of black cardstock, so I just die cut them twice. So for each arm and for the legs, I just die cut them twice, and I'm going to adhere those together. And then you'll notice that both the arms and the legs have those circle pieces in them. That's the part that you can make dance. Now, I didn't have any pieces in my stash that were small enough to fit inside the arms to make those kind of wobble around, but I know you could get creative, use a hole punch or something like that, and and just layer it up a bunch of times and put that in there. But I did have a piece for his legs. So we're going to make his little legs dance, but you could make both, or you could just make his arms, or however you want to do it. It's your creation. And I can't really do a whole lot more here other than put the mittens on the hands and the little shoes, or the little ice skates on the feet. He's so cute and whimsical. But we still have to make his background. So once we get all these pieces adhered, we'll set them off to the side because we can't do much more after that. And then we'll start working on our background. And our background is going to be a piece of watercolor cardstock. And I'm going to start by putting that into my makeshift splatter box and spray some distress spray stains on those, or distress oxide sprays on them. So I've got some tumbled glass, some cracked pistachio, and we're doing the same thing with the distress oxide inks. We're going to use some tumbled glass, cracked pistachio, and some salvage patina. We'll bring that in there too. I ended up getting a little bit more cracked pistachio than I really wanted, so a little more green than I wanted, but the way those meld together is great. And so I'll just keep playing kind of off camera until I get the background that I want. And then I'll spritz a little water on that, just big water droplets, let that sit for a second, and then wipe that away. Heat set that a little bit till that is just kind of dry. And then I want to do some splatter because anytime I do a background like this, I love splatter. And I thought this silver paint would be perfect to kind of mimic some snowfall or maybe even some stars. So I'll just splatter that all over that background. It's nice and shimmery. And then we have to let that dry as well. So I'll heat set that. And then I end up trimming down my background just 1/4 inch off of that. We're going to use that piece, but our base measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches and is scored at 4.25 inches. And we'll go ahead and attach down our panel to our base, just using some liquid glue. Leave a nice white border on that right-hand side. And then we need to make our sentiment. So that sentiment comes from the Dancing Holiday Sentiments. I have some red cardstock, and I am just going to stamp my sentiment down with a juicy embossing ink, basically a watermark ink or a sticky clear ink. Cover that with my detail white embossing powder. And then I'll heat set that till that is smooth and melted. And then we will trim this sentiment down. Once we're done with that, then we can actually start adhering the rest of the card. So I'm going to put the tree in his little hand. And it's at this point, I'm not sure if I can actually make his arms dance yet. So I pull out the little piece that I have, which is just this little mini disc. I had these in my stash, and it's thick. It's actually a little piece of plastic. It works great. If I can find them, I'll have them linked down below. But it doesn't work for his hands. It's too big for his hands or his arms, but it will work perfectly for his legs. So I'm just going to leave his legs there, use a little bit of liquid glue to adhere down my disc, and let that kind of go and dry. And then I'll start attaching his arms to the back of him. Again, like I was going to say, just be creative. You'll probably find like that you have a punch in your stash that would give you a tiny little dot, and then you could just keep making those bigger, until it's thick enough. I put a little bit of liquid glue on there, and then I realized I am going to need some foam tape on the back of him. I mean, you wouldn't have to use the foam tape, but I feel like that would just hold a little better. So I am going to put some foam tape just a little bit on his back. I don't put any on the tree or his other glove. We're just going to let those kind of hang there. I think it'll be fine. Peel off that release paper, and then we'll stick him down on top of that. And then his little legs can move around. I don't know what it is about stuff like that. It just makes me smile. All right, we'll adhere down our sentiment using our glass mat to line it up. Then we can trim off that excess. And then we have to do something to the inside. So I have another piece of red cardstock just trimmed down. We're going to put that on the inside just to kind of bring a little cohesion in from the outside to the inside. So I'll use my liquid glue and adhere that down. And I'll do the same thing with my piece that I had trimmed off. This is where we'll use that on the inside. And then we're going to glue the present on the inside as well. You could probably add another sentiment if you wanted to, but I'm going to leave it as is. And then I can trim off the excess at the top. And once that's done, that's actually going to finish off our card for today. So I do love how this one turned out. Again, I'll have everything linked down below, at least just a link to the shop if nothing else. And I will probably have a coordinating blog post to go along with this. So head down to my description box, check it out. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye everybody.